heading the Global Engineering, Architecture and CDO Office Enablement across of all digital and data products at Western Union. He is a firm believer of diversity in the workplace. Along with this, Harveer is also a great supporter of women in leadership. He is currently Chief Data Architect and Head Global Engineering of Western Union. Let's welcome Harveer. I like your frame, Harveer. Diversity, equity and inclusion.
Well, that's Western Union. Thank you for having me here. Two great speakers ahead of me. I don't know, it's hard to compete and hard to, I resonate every single word that Sheila and Nina have said. I grew up in a family where there was no gender. We were two kids. My sister and I, we were raised as equals. We were raised as exactly what I had, she had. My parents actually, honestly, preferred her over me because I was the bum in the family, like you said, Sheila. So I was actually told you should look at your sister. She's focused, she's smart, and she knows what she wants. You're the one who has no idea what you want. So I kind of feel that my sister was my role model when I grew up, even though when she was younger. She was the one who brought me back many times when I was not necessarily thinking about life. But this entire thing actually, I want to kind of step back and kind of give you a perspective why I think the way I think. I come from a minority in India which has been prosecuted for many years because of the way we think. We think about equality, we think about that. If there is this one war that made us all equal, that made us, he didn't differentiate between gender, the race, the color, the caste, or any of this stuff, which was the basis of, the entire construct 500 years ago when the Sikhism, the religion that I belong to, started. The whole purpose of the religion was that we are all equal. And I truly firmly believe that we are actually all equal. And I actually practice that today at my workplace, at my home, at my, any kind of social activities that I believe in, I feel that we are all equal. But to be honest, women have been at a disadvantage. And primarily it's because people have thought of them as primarily homemakers, somebody to cook, somebody to clean, somebody to take care of, the home affairs. But if you think about it, that is not an easy job. That is a full-time job. That is something I cannot do it. Honestly, if I have tried myself to put myself in that position, it's like, can I take a step back in my life and go do what my mom would do, what my mother had done, what my wife is doing on a day-to-day basis? I don't think I can. So, honestly, I think I am at a disadvantage of not experimenting, experiencing the stuff in the life that a woman goes through. And we as corporations, we actually start to penalize them for the events that happen in their life. These events are primarily equally male events than women events, right? A childbirth, for example, is a family event, it's not a women's event. Why should a women be penalized and take a step back in their career when it's actually an event both, a father and a mother has to take jointly. But if you look at the disproportionate aspect of any American family, the minute a woman goes and becomes a mother, she takes 5 years back in her career and the father himself in her career. There is no recouping. There is absolutely no recouping. You lost that time. Where is that training that is happening to bring them back into that equal basis? How are we trying to make sure that we take the experience that they've gained during those 5 years, juggling 25 different things to put that in the workplace? We are not. And I think one of the things that I talked to Shijabs or Swati about was, how do we get women back into the workforce who have taken a step out onto a parallel track to look after certain things? And how do you really bring them back into the workforce where they really want to belong? Because now, once the child is a little bit grown up, she can be as active as a father can, because this is an equal responsibility, equal opportunity for everyone. And I actually really believe that notion that Swati is going after is very, very powerful, extremely powerful. at Western Union, for example, we have a firm belief that we don't talk about diversity as we have to. It's diversity we should, because that is the strength in how our global teams need to operate. Personal experience, I personally have excelled much better under women leadership than male leadership. Not that, there's anything wrong with it, but it's a personal experience because the women think with compassion, they are extremely logical, and they are able to look at individual circumstances without, greed, without, emotional bias, without the bias for the stock market. They actually think it's you who are being affected, and how does it relate to you? That itself is extremely powerful. It's hard to bring that out sometimes in the male population, because we are all driven by over excelling, overachieving, competition. Not that women are not, but there is a sense of this compassion that brings certain amazing things to life. I was reading an article, and again, it's no offense to anyone. The countries that have done really well during COVID are all in the women leadership, and it's not a joke. New Zealand is an amazing example. You look at New Zealand and you're like, wow, that woman, that president, or prime minister, she has done amazing for the country. She didn't think from the economy, she's not thinking from X, Y, Z, she's thinking about compassion, the life, how it affects people. That itself is immensely powerful. I actually, interestingly, Sheila, you brought in a very interesting topic, is about you cannot, and I truly believe you can. There is no such thing anybody cannot achieve. Being in a minority where I was constantly judged, I left India in 2011 when 9/11 happened. The first thing that everybody thought was, I belong to a certain sect which was responsible for certain things that were happening in the country. I never really tried to throw anyone else under the bus, but took accountability of saying, look, I want to make sure I deliver the best in me. And I feel that the same disadvantage, a lot of women carry in this world. The first thing, if when you hire someone, the first thing if they look at the resume and they're like, oh, why were you out of a job for the first 5 years? The first thing is like a bias. Right away there's a bias. Fighting that bias, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes courage, it takes practice, and honestly, Swati, you're doing a phenomenal job by taking this head on. You got to take this bull by the horn and tackle it, because there is no other way. There is no other way. You have our support. I've already committed that we will make she jobs as part of our recruiting and as part of our culture within Western Union. We want to support not only just women coming back into the workforce. I'm actually working with Women in Tech, Grace Hoppers, and a few other organizations where we want to start mentoring women who are of color right up from the point when they enter the universities, to make sure that they understand what all is out there for them. Because what happens is once they get inside, there is such a vast field or vast choices. People really don't understand or don't necessarily understand where they want to end up. So putting them with mentors and putting them with folks who can truly give them some advice. I've actually started working with those kind of organizations as well. And as and when if there's needed, I'm right here. Will be always supported. That's pretty much it, actually. You know what? I don't know what else to say. I've thoroughly enjoyed the speeches of both Dina and Sheila. You guys have been phenomenal, and anything that I can do to support anyone who is in need, I will be right there. And Swati knows this. I'll always be right there. Swati, it's all up to you. On to you. Ask me whatever you want to ask. I think that's pretty much on my side. I want to say.
Thank you, Harveer. I have a question for you, Harveer.
Yep.
When I spoke about She Jobs to you, you first asked about whether I have a database of women who can come in the leadership level in your organization. And what is the reason for that? And why are you most fascinated about having women in the leadership rather than in the entry level? Because that was quite different, which I heard from you.
So, like I said, in my household, my mom wears, my boy wears the pants. Well, not really, but yes, she does. And there's a reason why both my sister and I did pretty okay, is because my mom was a role model for us. And I feel that the life she spent behind the kitchen, if she had done some of that stuff similar to what she would have done outside, she would have been a phenomenal professional. She just wasn't given the right opportunity. I feel that what happens is, women do gain a lot of entry into the workforce at the junior level. You know, I came from consulting where I was fascinated. I'm like, wow, this organization. I worked with Accenture, Deloitte, and Ernst & Young, where you have almost 50% of the workforce at the entry level or the mid-senior level as women, but really nobody makes it to the top. There must be a reason for it. So instead of me starting from the bottom, I want to go from the top. If I have someone at the top, let's get them to bring the people from the bottom so that they can train. There's a mentorship available. I can only do so much. What the young women want is women leaders at that top. I report into a woman who's the president of the company, phenomenal female, and I want to bring in more and more like her, as peers or even as someone who's ahead of me, so that they can become role models for the people who are entering the workforce. Entering the workforce has become easy for women. Rising up is still a challenge. That was my rationale, Swati.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Harveer, for your time. That's really great. Being a male leader, you want more women in your organization, especially in the
I see no gender. I see no color. But yes, we got to do this because there is so much that diversity offers. We need to take advantage of it.
Great. Thank you so much, Harveer, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.